Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us in tonight's webinar. Apparently, is a series of webinars that Grander Together has organized. And tonight's topic is encouraging a family-centric view of online games. So, what is apparently? We are a series of panel discussions between people across generations. And as you can see, our panelists tonight, who we do have cross-generational representation, and they bring their professional or personal perspectives to help strengthen intergenerational families. We are so happy tonight to have the support of Kids PlaySafer together with SG Families and Mums for Life and Dads for Life. Grander Together is a project initiative of Cultivate SG, and our aim is to cultivate stronger intergenerational families in Singapore. Tonight, we have a wonderful panel ready to talk to us. First off, there is Sandra. Sandra is a mother of two children, and she is the co-founder of Kids PlaySafer. And for her, what began as a parent-child digital tool to spark conversations at home has grown into youth-led Play Safer workshops, where student trainers guide younger peers, they share real online experiences, and they help families address digital issues in their own communities and becoming active builders of a safer digital world for all of us. Now, Terence is a co-founder of Kids Play Safer together with Sandra. He is a lawyer by training and a board member of Black White Private Limited. And a parent-child representative tonight is Shane and Oliver. We're so proud to have them join us to deliver a different perspective. Now, Shane is a father of two boys, so Oliver is his son. He is also a parent volunteer with Kids Play Safer. Now, Oliver is a secondary student, two student, and he's a student trainer in these Kids Play Safer workshops, and he's called a gaming guardian. So we'll learn more about what a gaming guardian is as the webinar progresses. So as we kick off this webinar, I'd like all our audience members to know that you're welcome to key in your questions in the Q&A function. Do key them in, and as a moderator, we'll pick up some of these questions to allow our panelists to answer them after they have given their part of the webinar. Sandra, please tell us more about Kids Play Safer.
Hi, everyone. Hi, thank you so much, Shanton. And I'm so excited and so thankful for this opportunity. I'm also very thankful for my folks, the trainers and supporters who come and join us in this conversation. Yeah. I just want to check that you can see my slides. Yeah. Good. Fantastic. Thank you so much. And this is just a pause for any parent out there who feel that, oh my gosh, there's so much to do for parenting. Am I doing enough? This is just a pause to say, because you're even thinking about it, thank you for coming to listen and learn. It's already enough. Okay, so let me take you through my journey and a little bit about how other trainers and supporters came along with me for the Kids Play Safer, which we started actually 2022, 2021, 2022. Okay, let me see if I can switch. Okay, that's just me. This is being the co-founder mode. I'm very thankful for all the support from AI Ready, all the NLB partners, also with Singapore Partnerships Office, in MVPC, as well as with Shenton. I have two children, and they are actually the main reason why I started to look into the digital environment. And that's what actually led to Gaming Guardians. Okay, I will share more about what our mission is when you see the kind of programs that we curate in the last 3 to 4 years. The whole idea that we built with Kids Play Safer is that it's a volunteer-led, it is nonprofit, and it's community-driven. A lot of the issues were brought up to us from our partners. We work with all kids, people underprivileged backgrounds. We also work with NLB. We work with a lot of schools as well. And they come up with the problems. And we were looking at ways how to engage with the student body or with the young children themselves. We found that empathy and peer learning is very important. Peer learning is the main key factor, how to keep children engaged and be able to understand more about why they should do certain things and not. I share more later. More pictures will show you, okay? we're going to hit 500 very quickly as well. We do a lot of programming with GFL. Okay. And this is what I want to talk about. In 2023, we piloted with NLB the Gaming Guardians program. What this came about was because we found that with children, they love gaming. There's many games, short programs or game formats that they can engage with. But what I wanted to share about is that whereby we have student trainers deliver the workshop and share that with younger children. So it's like the Koko Tete relationship. And that we found was really, really well attended. A lot of parents signed up further. And we also were exposed to a lot more problems that we were not aware of. Parents actually have spoken to a lot of parents that stayed back and wanted to ask more questions. And that's why till now, we're actually still running this program. So the next one's coming up is actually in July. So I'll share more later. Actually, if I go back, Shane is actually in that photograph as well. So you can see that actually in 2023, he's been joining us, and now it's 2026. So we have a very good pool of student trainers and also parent volunteers that's actually grown together with us. And we've expanded our, not only our understanding, but also our approaches. I would love for Shane and Oliver to share more about that. That's the second segment. And let me just take you through some of the things that we do at Kids PlaySafer. So our programs have got young children and even for youths, as well as now we're going to seniors with AI literacy. I mean, Shenton, we're talking about how grandparents or, senior folks can actually participate in an online environment. We actually cover all that. We love for all partners and grandfathers or family members to come and support our program as well. We basically work with digital literacy across communities and children. And the main question that we have, the problem statement is that how can a highly connected country in Singapore keep the community safe online? So it's not just games, it's about social media, it's about device management, it's about also the behavior around it. When you look at how to be kind online, that's one of our key partners. We were looking to understand what is a good scenario, what is a good behavior? Do we have bad words? Because someone bullied us, therefore we return back? There's a lot of things that we focus on, that we talk in our own safe conversations at the workshops. Now, why did we talk about children? Why did we go with that direction? Kids teach kids. I actually ran a lot of parenting workshops as well. We also do at CCs. We go out with Pasir Ris community centers. And also I work closely with a Singapore Kindness Movement as well. I just recently did an article about, some parents were asking, what's the best parental app? There is no best parental app. The parent is the best parental app. So it's basically being able to communicate and share with the child so that there's a safe space. Be that trusted adult, be that trusted caregiver. How? I'd like to actually, share that, pass that on to Shane as we move further down in the next segment. That's just a flavor of what our trainers look like. It actually starts to age from 11, 12, all the way up to JC. Some of them are started with JC and now at uni. They're also still participating and now coming back as volunteers. So I encourage any parent who would like to sign the children on, please do, and any other young youth change makers would support us, that'll be great. Okay. This is just a snapshot of what we did in our first pilot. So it's just basically pods, working workshops, groups of trainers discussing and sharing with the participants, some scenarios and some quizzes. Okay. These are some of the DFL workshops that we run with the Digital for Life Festival in the last 2 years. And then you see the Koko Tete effect I talked about. These are something like that. We've got the JC kids sharing with the younger children at the game club. This is at Jurong West Library. So we typically at a workshop, we will ask questions like, does the parent or the child able to share with us what are their key games that they like to play with or what their favorite ones are? Then we can actually explore a lot of content about, age appropriateness, access to screen time, and also the right kind of devices. Because, access to or via a mobile phone versus a controlled Nintendo PlayStation is actually quite different in terms of the harms that they experience. Yeah, so let me see. And also, most recently, I participated with the United Nations research to look at children's digital rights. And Kids PlaySafer is the only Singapore research team that contributed to this research. A lot of times when I talk to the children that were in this article, in this survey, they already know what the harms are and they're already saying how they can. So I think I would like to stop at this point. I will share more about the current projects, but I think I would like to also include the story that Shane and Oliver. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Sandra, for a very interesting overview of the work of Kids Play Safer. And I'm so amazed that I've got two sayings that will stick in my mind. Number one is the parent is the best parental app in this area of helping our children. And I really like the work that Kids Play Safer do in empowering and giving back choice to the players and children, especially themselves, on how they want to manage themselves and what games they want to play by being empowered themselves. So thanks, Sandra. I'll now like to go to Shane and Oliver. Thank you so much for joining Daddy and Son team. Hello. And it's really wonderful to see that that students are training their fellow students, and that's why tonight's conversation is going to be so interesting. Perhaps I can start by asking Oliver. Oliver, could you share with us when you're training your fellow peers, what are some of these harms that they have highlighted to you that you've heard of when you interact with them?
Well, I personally feel that the main issue is a lot of kids, especially young children, get scammed quite often online. For example, there was once where I think in 2024, when I was talking to this P1 boy, and he told me that for some reason he already had social media. And so he told me that he had been talking to this person who was willing to sell him an iPhone for a reasonably low price, for unreasonably low price. And so he was trying to check with me whether it was a scam or not, as he was unable to differentiate between an actual person selling an iPhone between a scammer who's just trying to rob you of your money.
Hmm.
So I think I've seen a lot of situations like this where people get scammed quite often, especially the young children who don't know how to differentiate between an actual person and a scam.
Hmm. So, what advice would you give, like this primary one boy or any other person who may suspect that, hey, there's something fishy going on, or how do they discern what is right and wrong?
Well, in my opinion, I feel that they should definitely turn to their parents because I think that a child and their parents should definitely be communicating a lot. As I'm sure that the parent would want the best for their child. The parent also has lived longer than their child and used the phone much longer, so they'll definitely know what's the right thing to do.
Hmm. Yes, certainly very sound advice that communication between the parent and child is very crucial. Shane, perhaps I could go to you now. Like as a parent, do you see it a trend that parents and children don't talk to each other? Like what prevents the child from telling their parent, "Hey, daddy or mommy, I suspect this." Or what do you see out there?
Oh, of course. I mean, look, I'm 46, coming 47, so you can count back 1980s. Uh, Tech, AI, and things like that, gadgets weren't really prevalent then. They started coming on probably JC. You start using a pager, and then maybe 2000s handphone come about. So I'm still not used to it when people go, "Oh, you need to get your son a phone, get your son this and that." I'm not used to it. But then again, that's the way of the world. When you give your child that gadget, um, sky's the limit, right? You can't control all the time. Um, it's scary, but then again, you cannot say no also, right? So you're caught in a fix. So how do you then manage it? Um, it's difficult. It's difficult, but then again, it's one of those things where you you have to be there, but yet don't over control also at the same time. I don't know whether it's the right way to say it, but the amount of information is infinite, and it can be a double-edged sword. It can work the other way around also.
Mm.
So
Yes, I hear you. Yeah, I hear you that it is almost impossible to say, no, you cannot have the device
yeah.
because the device is a way of life. How would you encourage other parents and children out there to communicate? What would you say to them that, look, guys, you must communicate? What would you say to parents
So
and children?
I know I sidetracked a little bit to answer your question about how parents, and I've seen this many times. You go to a food court, and I hate it when children look at gadgets when they're having meals. And my wife and I, we try to maintain that. You look at another family next to us, and everyone's on their phone. And then you get your kid looking at them. How come they can do it? How come I can't do it? How do you then moderate that, right? I'm not saying they're bad, but maybe to convenience wise, I just want to just zone out, eat, look at it. I get it. But is that right? Go back to the traditional. I'm quite traditional in this. Is that right? I don't know. In my opinion, it is not. I can't judge another person, but I want to tell my kid, look, if you're going to have just 1 hour of dinner, let's talk. Let's just talk. Tell me about your day. Tell me about school. Tell me what you think. Let's chat.
Mm.
That's what I think. People may not agree with this, but end of the day, I'm not here to judge. But I think end of the day, we need to communicate.
Yes, thanks for that. And indeed, we have to make meal times a pleasant experience for the whole family, right? So meal times cannot be stressful that people will prefer not to talk. So talking, hearing each other out and encouraging each other. I mean, after all, we're having a meal. We're not having a debate over a meal. Um, Oliver, if I was to ask,
Yeah.
how do you then become comfortable sharing with your parents or any other parent out there who has a child? What would you tell this child that it is okay to talk to your parents about what's happening in the gaming world? What would you say to them?
Well, honestly, for some kids, it's might be better for them to talk to someone else. It doesn't always need to be their parents, because let's just say that your parents are really old, so you probably don't understand what's happening online, and it may lead to many arguments. For example, like if one parent really disagrees with what the child is doing, although it's a norm for the society, for societies at our age as children, then it might lead to many arguments and disagreements because both sides don't really understand each other. So I think what might be better is that's why we have this Kids PlaySafer, where the kids are able to ask us, who are just a few years older, and we live in the same era, we know the same things, and we are able to understand each other.
Hmm. How useful, and I guess anyone can answer this question, how useful would it be for, say, parents at your daddy's age, right? Shane, at your age, how feasible is it to like teach that generation that these are the types of games, this is how it's structured, and these are the harms? Then they will be able to contribute more. Is it workable, or do you think no, it's the students to teach students that will be more effective?
No, yes, I definitely think that the student can, of course, teach the parent so that it can be more feasible and it can be a two-way thing. The parent can also guide the child. And I mean, of course, the child can also guide the child. So it's overall, I think that it's better to have many resources to help you instead of just one where you're just getting help from a child or you're just getting help from a parent. I mean, it's better to have help from both sides. So yeah, of course, I think it's not that difficult to teach a parent how to be able to use the phones and all the social media. Yeah.
There are, of course, many games. I noted you had a casual mobile games, role-playing games, simulation games, competitive games. Perhaps I can ask Shane and Oliver, what what do you see now as the most popular game, and what kind of harm that game could bring out that we should be aware of?
Um, well, in my opinion, I think that Roblox is quite popular among young kids right now because that there are many different small games in that app, and it's honestly quite addictive and fun to play. So I feel that one harm is that, in Roblox you're playing against other human beings. You're not playing against bots, you're playing against human beings who are in other servers. So I feel that sometimes when there are many people and then there are disagreements, then the public chat groups can get a bit toxic when people start attacking each other. And like what makes it worse is if someone like a few group of people gang up on one person, and so that will cause it to be cyberbullying. So when you're a viewer trying to play the game, and then you keep on reading all these toxic messages, it makes the game a bit hard to play with. It makes games a bit hard and like enjoyable to play with.
So, what would you advise the person who's been embroiled in this very toxic conversation or being ganged up upon? What would you say to this person?
I'll just ask that person to leave the game because there's nothing that he can really do against everyone else when everyone else is behind a screen. So I'll just tell the person to leave the game and move on.
So again, it is a choice.
Yeah.
They have to be empowered to make that choice to say, I am
Mhm.
not going to be part of this. I'm leaving.
Mm.
Okay. Um, could you describe maybe another harm, perhaps in another game, like a competitive one or a simulation game?
Okay, so I also play Brawl Stars, and sometimes when you're playing with their team modes, so 3v3s, and sometimes when you finish the game, the Brawl Stars always shows you like statistics of who did well, who did badly, or like how many kills you made, how many times do you kill someone. And so whenever someone plays like badly or has bad statistics which cause the team to lose, then people will put like a thumbs emoji on this player, which might seem like a good thing, but it's actually not. So that might affect the player who's just trying to have fun when he's getting attacked with all these thumbs up. Yeah.
Sarcasm.
Yeah, it's a form of sarcasm.
Mm. So again, it is also about a toxic environment and being bullied based on what someone says about you as a fellow player.
Yeah.
So again, we have to recognize when it is that's not good for our mental health, when it's not safe to be in there, choose not to continue in that.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, are there some examples of safe games that have got as less harm as possible? What would be a really safe game for say a teenager or a primary school kid to play with less potential harm?
In my opinion, I think FIFA is quite safe, or like those sports games where, like, for example, basketball or rugby online, because most of the time you're playing against bots, and on those times where you play against someone else, it's you can play with friends. So if you don't want to play with other people online because you don't feel safe or like you're worried anything's gonna happen, you can always play against bots. So that still allows the game to be enjoyable and fun without having to play against someone else. Yeah, so
Mm,
I think that those type of sports reality games are quite good.
So meaning those games where you actually play against the computer,
Yeah,
the algorithms, and then you
yeah,
actually pitch yourself against the machine.
sure, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And of course, your other advice is to make sure that if you want to form a group to play with or play against,
yeah,
choose the friends that you play with.
yeah. Hmm.
Yes, yes. I'm very curious about this other situation that I've heard from a friend of mine, a young friend of mine. He says that he has a lot of friends. So I said, "Oh, okay. So do you go out with your friends over the weekend?" He said, "No, all my friends are online friends." Is that a healthy thing for a teenager, you, to only have online friends?
Honestly, no. Because number one, you don't even know those people online. You have never met them before. And so it's a bit weird having friends only behind the computer. I mean, if you're just an introvert, I guess there's nothing wrong doing it. You just need to keep a safe boundary. For example, if the person texts you, then or like asks you to do things which you're not comfortable in, then you can just remove him from your friends. But overall, I think that you should be having friends in the outdoors, your classmates. You should go hang out with them, eat lunch with them instead of always just being on the phone or having friends on the phone. Yeah.
Mm. So let's meaning have a more diverse group of friends. They are
Yeah.
online friends, they're physical friends, and especially friends that you can meet to talk
Yes.
face to face with and can really get to know each other. And that's why we are human beings. We are called social creatures. Yeah. Wonderful. I have another question, and anyone can answer this. Are there games out there where two generations can play and enjoy it together. That means it's not just playing among people your own age, but really even grandparents, parents, and children can enjoy this kind of game. And what are some suggestions that you have for those kinds of games?
Um, I think a few years ago there was this game called Pokemon Go, where you were able to catch your own Pokemons, and so like I knew that a lot of grandparents were also playing it because it helped. It also helped you stay healthy and fit because you had to walk around, to catch the Pokemon, and so you were able to play with your grandchild and your grandchildren. You also can play with your own children. So it's yeah, I think that game was you any age group could play that game.
Jane, I'm
I,
still playing that game.
so that's where you get your exercise, right, Sandra? You do get to go outdoors and to catch the Pokemons.
It's the exclusive items that you can get around
Okay.
around the world. So it's really,
Yeah.
really good.
But do
Yeah.
you do it alone or you make it a family event or a friend event?
Oh, we get very social. My son has his own account, my husband has his account, and we know friends with their accounts as well because the game itself actually makes it very social. You can start gifting and things like that. So exactly what Shane is saying, right? It's just collection. It's not competing. If you do compete, oh yes, you do compete. There's a KO option, right? Yeah. But then
Mm,
it gets more technical, yeah. But
mm,
that's a terrific intergenerational game. But I just want to say as well, any game can be intergenerational, right?
mm.
FIFA game, or if even just to introduce to your parent, what these games are. Um, don't forget, if you look at the stats, a lot of senior folks like myself, we play a lot of different types of games. We are doing all the, like, the chess, the Sudokus, the, Tetris type, farming. So what I want to mention here is just to really frame it in such a way that yes, gaming with the child is really good. So you have that safe conversation, choosing the right activity so you can bond together. But nothing can beat being outdoors or going out in a meaningful in exchange, like what Shane and Oliver, they mentioned as a family. I mean, I must give lots of kudos to Shane as well, because the son's an athlete, right? They all do a lot of outdoorsy thing, and Shane himself doesn't play much games, but he makes an effort to learn about the different types. Likewise for me, right? When I started with Kids PlaySafer, I didn't know a lot of these games, and these trainers were my sifus. They were telling me what are the new games. Shanton, if you allow me a little bit of time as well, I think it's very important to walk away from just online games as in the boys' world, but also how gaming affects girls. I've actually come across some um, uh, the intention of using the games as because I'm bored, so I play, or because I'm waiting around, or because I'm very stressed, so I want to play. So be very, very mindful what these games are for, because if you're stressed and you then just want to play a game, it becomes a bad habit. So I come across whereby I hear of girls that they finish their studies, they study till 11 o'clock, and then they start to joke each other, say, hey, let's play a game at 11 o'clock at night. And they think, oh, so stressed, we can play together, right? And then those games takes about half an hour to an hour. So by the time they go to sleep, it's about 12 or 1 o'clock. And it gets that's a very bad approach to this. Yes, they are relieving stress. These are for the more secondary school kids, like, but it's not a good thing. So, but I hear a lot of girls saying that, oh, but I cannot not play because if I don't play, then they don't join me again, or I don't play, then I'm not cool, right? Then they won't, I won't, I will miss out the fear, the FOMO element. So they feel that they have to stay up to continue playing. So that those gaming aspects also should be parents should be also aware that there's some pressures that level as well.
What advice can we give to youth and teens who are caught in that situation of peer pressure? How can they respond to their friends?
Well, for me, simply with Kids Play Safer is very this is this psychology about this is basically the fear of missing out, the fear of not being included, where you want to be part of the group. We just want to give them the confidence that they must be aware of the consequences. If you're aware of the consequences, then what are your options? You can choose to say no, you can say come back again, or you can say, hey guys, maybe we should all sleep, and then tomorrow morning, let's go and have another thing. So when you empower them with options, then they can make the decision at that point to make the right decision, right? Because it's very hard to start forcing them, you cannot do this, you cannot do this, because maybe sometimes they really do need a break, it's really hard. I mean, I've been a teenager once. I mean, Shane, what do you think as a parent?
You know what, Sandra? I mean, I went through a time where there was no tech. You want to meet someone, we go out. We have coffee, you go to kopitiam, and that's what I did. I still feel uncomfortable meeting someone online, which I think is not me. I'm not to be offensive, I don't think it's right. But then again, that's the way of the world, and that's where our children are going to be living in this world. So you got to accept it, got to try and learn from it. But and I'll go back to the question that Shanton asked again. Interpersonal. Use the gadget. It's great. The amount of information. I'm in banking. I need it. But you know what? When it comes to personal relationships, family, friends, talk. Talk. You know what I mean? I mean, my boy is in rugby, and I'm glad he's in a sport because he gets to meet people, he has to train with them, sweat, tears, blood, whatever you call it. The point is that helps. When you go to the army, look, we're Singaporeans. That helps.
Thanks. So what I hear from both Sandra and Shane is that element of communication is very important. Like even if there's peer pressure to do something, someone must have the courage to express that, hey, perhaps this is not so good at this time. Let us do. It's about communication, with the courage to speak out what's on your mind and not be drawn into peer pressure to conform in a certain way. Yeah, yeah. I'm curious. Now that
Shanton,
yes,
if I can just add here, right?
yes, Terence, please go ahead.
That this communication, right, is also the communication by the parent to the child too. Because one of the things that when talking to parents after our session, right, is that parents always think that my child knows, my child ought to know, my child should know. The problem is this: actually the child doesn't know, doesn't really care to know, for the reasons that has been discussed by Sandra as well as Shane, right? Because their motivation is only one thing, right? Whether it's because of FOMO, whether it's because of want to achieve certain things, certain wins and stuff like that, they will do it. And that's why you have, cyberbullying, you have scams, and parents that's online here. You may be surprised to know actually the one group that is when we talk about scams, right? One group that's actually right at the top of scam list is actually teenagers, which everyone thinks that they're old enough, they should know, but actually they want to achieve what they want to achieve, and that's why even they know or should know or ought to know, they still get scammed, and they fall in that group of people that get scammed the most. And when you look at children, younger children, right, when they play in, as what has been discussed by Oliver as well as Shane and Sandra, right, for younger children, when they play in multiplayer game, their motivation is to win. But parents always think that, hey, my child knows that he shouldn't be befriending anybody just online, right? He should know, she should know. But unfortunately, the child has only one motivation. More players playing in a multiplayer game means more chances of winning. Notwithstanding, there's all the risks involved in befriending someone that you don't know, including like someone online asking you about your address, what do you do, what do your parents do, etc., etc. Getting information that they can subsequently use against you or do something even more. And I'm sure we all hear about stories of online friends, right, suddenly turning up for one reason or another. So that's the key thing, is therefore the communication, just going back to the point, and also to the point that Sandra made earlier on, right? Parent is the best app. Parent your responsibility is to have that communication with your child, right? Not only giving them empowerment, but also giving them uh, the ability, the comfort to talk to you. And that may be what is missing in a lot of
And parents
situations.
also need to have an interest in who the child's friends are.
Correct, that's right.
Mm. Are there some games out there that do not have this function of like social interaction, messaging? It's just purely a game and you play, you log in and you log out. Are there games that are popular that do not have these chat functions?
I
Shall
think
I
those
take
are
this
in
answer?
our that
Yeah.
I think those games are like games of our generation, like Street Fighter, right? Shenton, if you do remember, like Street Fighter is 1-to-1 game, yourself against the computer or one against the other, face to face, right? Those kind of games, right? Other than that, I think the games that is like Pokemon, as what Oliver mentioned, um, Pokemon Go, that is, etc. I mean, the real interesting game, honestly, is the multiplayer games,
Mm,
and because
mm,
they are also built to attract people to play the game.
mm. So it
Maybe
seems
if I
like the
can just,
modern games, yeah. Yes, Sandra, please.
sorry, can I just add that a lot of games now do have a parental function, parental control function. And one of the core areas that have any harms will be in the chat function, right? So if the child registers under 13 and has parental control in there, the parent can switch off the chat function. So that's what a lot of people have been doing for Roblox or Minecraft and things like that, because they found out there are a lot of chat functions. That's where they start enticing them to, oh, here, I'll give you a gift if you chat with me on Discord or outside of the chat room, right? Then that's basically, again, another choice that the child has to make. Do I follow that trail and get that free gift, or listen to what my mom said, don't even go and connect and add in other chat rooms, right? So there is a parental support function around these chats, but it really behooves the child to follow that guideline. So it's that regulation and that habit as well, number one. Yeah. And also for some game, for the games that are like strategy games, you need to have a lot of groups. You need a chat function because you have your own internal comms. You have to tell them, you have to go to this section, you have to go to this section, and then you can launch an attack. So you must have that chat function available as well. And that's actually where what Oliver was mentioning. Sometimes you get noobs, like new people in there, then they start gunning you, saying that you're not good, you should shut off and da, 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 and that's where these sort of scenes happen. Yeah, these sort of scenarios happen. So that's why what we do is we keep trying to use these different scenarios at Kids Play Safer to present it to the participants who are maybe new to game or have been playing the games, and they say, if these things happen and you see someone being bullied like that or being giving thumbs up, you thought, oh, it's actually really good, but actually it's in your face, right? They're making fun of you. So then it's like, if you saw someone being treated that way, what would you do? What should you do, right? It's all trying to give them um um teaching points. How to keep themselves safe, and then should they react in that sense. Some, like Terence was actually mentioning to another parent, like, yes, you can do something about it. Parents, you were saying about how, like, you told the other parent that they should, no, the child, that they should write directly to the one that's being bullied and say, hey, are you okay or not? Do you need help?
Mm-hmm.
That way is a kind of way, then that's where you're supporting as well. But that's assuming that you yourself is well protected. You're not opening yourselves to having connecting with unknown folks as well.
Mm. So meaning
Yeah.
the
So
friends that
all
you play
that, how to
with.
get that grounding.
Mm. So your own friends, the one whom you play with, should be able to also spot the signs of, say, a peer who's being bullied, and then to be able to connect with that person and say, "Are you okay? Did you know that you had just been bullied? Um, let's talk," right? So again, communication, helping each other as fellow players is useful from what I'm hearing. I'd like to go and ask more about the scams. I know Oliver mentioned earlier about enticements where someone would buy an iPhone at an unbelievable price. Are there some other kinds of harms that you have seen students raise during your training sessions with them? So I hear Sandra say there's this enticement of, oh, if you play this game, you'll get this gift. Are all these genuine? And what kind of things do the students raise to you, Oliver?
I think it's very rare for the gift to be genuine because most of the time it's a scam unless it's from the game itself where they're giving you a reward for, let's say, the game anniversary. And then, for example, like Brawl Stars, every anniversary, then you'll give few rewards. And since it's from the app itself, then you know it's legit. But sometimes I feel that a few people who I talk to during the gaming workshops, they tell me that it's hard to differentiate, between whether it's really real or not. Because I mean, let's be honest, everyone wants to receive new rewards, everyone wants to do better in the game. So sometimes they're a bit blinded by the fact that it might be a scam and they all just go and collect these rewards and happily enter in their passwords, their usernames, and that's how their accounts get hacked. So a lot of people who come to the gaming workshops are struggling with not being able to censor out whether it's an actual gift or it's a fake gift.
So when you say their accounts are being hacked, you're referring to the gaming account, right?
Yeah.
Oh, what happens when a gaming account gets hacked?
Well, then it allows the hacker or whoever you give your password and username to, it allows them to be able to log into your account. And let's say that you're using the same username and password as you are on your Gmail, Hotmail account. They're also able to log into your Hotmail account, check all your emails, all your passwords, and be able to
Ah,
hack, your phone. Yeah. Because I
so
know a
it's
lot of people who have the same email and password for both the games and their own email account.
so that's something like identity theft.
Yeah.
The person who hacked into your account will assume your identity and play as you.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I have a question regarding time. How much time would you say is reasonable, right, for a young person? Well, you can define how young a young person is, but how much time, hours per day would be considered reasonable for, say, us in Singapore, right? What is typical?
Or like a game, or do you mean your entire phone usage, WhatsApp, everything, or just the game itself?
Perhaps just games.
Maybe like 45 minutes, an hour.
Okay, so 45 minutes to an hour for a game session is considered reasonable. Okay, that's good.
Sure. I mean,
Uh,
my parents disagree, but
While Shane said no, he doesn't disagree, or was that did Shane say yes, I disagree?
I don't even
Yeah,
want to play
Oliver's
games on the phone. Yeah, get out to the sun, go to the gym, work out.
Yes, yes. Sun is important. Vitamins D, vitamin D.
That's right.
Okay, so apart from the number of hours that's considered reasonable, can I also ask what budgets would be reasonable? I know some games require the players to pay for something and put a credit card. How much money would you say is reasonable to spend on a gaming hobby? And if you're playing like an hour a day, anyone can answer
um,
this.
no money. Because like it's just a game. So in my opinion, like money shouldn't really be spent unless you're a really hardcore gamer who wants to do it when you're like growing up and you're working towards that as like a passion. But if it's just a hobby, I don't think any money should be spent.
So what you're saying, Oliver, is if you're aiming to be a professional gamer,
Yeah,
then
then sure, I
certainly you
guess.
build up and then pay for things.
Yeah.
But there are many games out there that are free of charge and there shouldn't be money spent on it. Okay,
Mm.
I hear you. I hear you. Um, I
Shanton. Sorry, if I can just interrupt here, right? Because
yes,
somebody asked
Terence.
about how long is it for gaming, right? I think you have to also depend on the age of the kid, right? Ranging from a primary school kid to Oliver, who is sec 1, right, to older kids. So really depends. And I think as we all know also, uh, the government, MOE, has got set also certain guidelines. Although in our view, we have got certain views regarding those guidelines. But all in all, right, I mean, it's really should be by the parent in the circumstances of the family and of the child, right, to determine it.
Mm. Is anyone able to share what is currently MOE's stand on time, on games, and what's the education system's stand? Anyone has a
Um,
contribution?
It's not MOE, but it's like HPB, Health Promotion Board. I think
Hmm.
right now it's actually about 2 hours, and it's none for primary school, certain age group as well. But I think it's being updated. We can actually share that in the comment section as well.
Yes,
But
sure.
in my study and a lot of scholarly work out there, we don't look at screen time as the main metric. We look at the intention and the usage and the content. Because if the content is positive, if it's a good game that's actually learning, like a science quiz or something like that, then the time actually for them to learn is good. But then if it's something that is really high dopamine, high levels, like Gran Turismo, where they shoot and kill each other, lots of violence, you know, how much time you think they should be spending on that? So we look at this content and the intentionality. The reason why I say I go back again with intention is if it's meant to be a stress reliever, I always tell my child and also any child around me is that if you feel stressed, don't reach for the game. Read a book, run, listen to some music. Find and condition your body and your cognitive mind to seek for other things to reduce or relieve pressure, and don't use games as your main reliever, because otherwise it's going to be a very bad cycle and it's building a digital habit that should not start with. Yeah, so be very intentional with the reason why you start with the game.
I have another question around a behavioral change. Have you come across with the people that you interact with where when they are playing this multi-role, multiplayer games, that their behaviors change according to the role that they play in the virtual world? Is that something that you've seen? Is it dangerous or it's harmless?
Honestly,
Anyone?
I don't really think I've seen something like that before because a lot of my friends are athletes, like we do sports. So we are happy with playing outdoors, we don't focus on the phone too much. So I don't think I've ever seen like a huge behavioral change. Maybe the max is when someone's playing a game, then just get really excited, maybe slightly addicted, but nothing too serious or like over the top. Yeah.
Mm, mm. That's
Um,
interesting.
Maybe I can add two points to this. Um, uh, the behavioral change I see is when I talk to university students, I ask them, so you're playing a lot of games when you're in secondary school. What about uni, right? Because now you are staying in the dorms, no parent is around you to control your time to play games. How are you playing the games? There's two groups. One is like, I don't have time to play games. I'm so busy and out there doing lots of stuff, which is wonderful, right? And then there's another group that basically just because there's no parental controls around them, they're just playing the games, missing classes and things like that. So that's the behavioral switch that you have. So if you have like what we call the forbidden fruit, if you stop them, refuse to let them do it, when you give them freedom, they will just go wild and they cannot control and regulate, and that's what happens, right? So when you're restricting time, you're restricting use of devices, be very intentional explaining the whole process around that, right? And then let them experience it.
I have one last question, and that is, do you see a difference between how boys and girls, male and female, approach games and the outcomes of behaviors that you have encountered with the people you train?
Wow. If I can just throw in there, girls play different games to boys, but that's just a general approach. The gaming element time-wise is also very hard to pin down. I think it's too open a thing. Terrence or Shane or Oliver, you have anything to add?
Yeah, like I think what Auntie Sandra said, it's a bit the game that girls and boys play are really different. For example, boys might play more action fighting games, but girls might play more like crafting, creating games. So I think it's very different. But yeah.
I'll say just one point. Apart from just games, having the phone, the internet, the amount of information and what you can do on it, social media, cancel culture, WhatsApp, you're on a chat everyone is talking about something negative and everyone's going, yeah, yeah. It doesn't have to be gaming. It just has to be this gadget. And that is it that causes the spark to go off. So I concur with Terence. It's hard. It's hard for parents to control. There's no right, no wrong in this. I may agree with what Terence is saying, but another parent is going, "No, it's fine. This is great. He's 3 years old. Come on. The kid needs all these gadgets." I'm like, huh? You look at science. Look at medical studies. The frontal lobe, the growth of the frontal lobe, and you can read about it and how it affects. So, and that is, it comes to the point where how do you then decide what's right and wrong, right? But then again, that's the world we live in. We have to agree to disagree, and that's the world we live in. So every parent needs to decide what's right and wrong for their child. We're going to live together.
Yes, and I believe the prefrontal lobe only fully develops when a human being is about 21 years old.
I don't even know whether my frontal lobe is developed.
Okay, very interesting. Thank you very much, everyone, for a wonderful discussion. Perhaps Sandra, would you like to introduce some of the services that Kids Play Safer could offer our audience members? You're muted, Sandra.
Yeah, maybe not services, but maybe what our student trainers are actually building. Because other than the gaming guardians, we have a couple of different teams coming together. We are trying to solve the scams problems. And this is in partnership with SPF and POSB. So we have Hwa Chong Girls, River Valley Boys, and then also now with SCS Youth that's creating this digital game in partnership with SPF and POSB. And then Save Our Kindness Movement, we just launched a digital game, How to Be Kind Online. So this will be rolled out at the July 25th workshop session at Bongo. There will be a link later on. We will share that once NLB is ready. I also got SST team coming to do a project serve. This is a parental app, really interesting how to be safe and tapping it when they arrive home and things like that. So it's reducing screen time, but making it very intentional with parents. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So we launched the kindness game at Science Center. So these are some of our trainers demonstrating this. And I would love for people to play the game as well. This is with PRSB. They'll come out through the community. And these are all my trainers. And this is the AI program that we run with Cinda. Okay. So this is my last slide, just to show you if anybody who's interested, here's how to connect with me for joining Kids Play Safer. Okay.
Sure. Thank you so much for all the services that Kids Play Safer have been offering to our community and has been a wonderful benefit to parents and children. So thank you very much for all that. In closing, perhaps I could also share with everyone that the next webinar that Grander Together will be organizing is in this topic called Purposeful Living in Our Senior Years. And at that webinar, we have two senior gentlemen who will come to share with us about how they live actively, even as seniors, and how they have made success of intergenerational relationships and how the whole multi-tier generational family have been able to live together, play together, and really enjoy each other's values and company. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you could take the time to scan this QR code and get yourself registered, this webinar will be in the middle of July, on the 15th of July, also at the same time at 8 p.m. And we also have another QR code. We hope our audience members would also scan and get connected with Grander Together, either on our WhatsApp, Instagram, Telegram, Facebook, and we even have a YouTube channel. So do scan this QR code to connect with us. And just to remind everyone that this webinar, which has been recorded, will be uploaded onto YouTube so that many more people can benefit from the comments and ideas from Sandra, from Terence, from Shane, and Oliver Pua. So it leaves me now to say thank you to all my panelists and thank you to all our audience members who have come to participate and hear about this very interesting topic on gaming and how the intergenerations can get involved in a safe way. And we hope you will also support Kids Play Safer by volunteering to be a trainer, either as a parent trainer, a student trainer, or participate in some of the programs that Sandra has described. So thank you very much once again. I wish everyone a good evening and stay safe. Good night, everyone.